and welcome to Gaelic Football Views on wearecavan.com.
And if you're still with us after that intro, on tonight's show we'll be looking back over the final round of games in the All-County Football League and how they left everyone.
Yeah, we'll also be discussing the minor county final from Saturday night and a lot more results from the weekend too.
So we're going to start off with the Kiernan Service Station All-County Football League Division 1A results from round 9. The first game saw Coothill taking on Lacken in Coothill, and the home side came away with a 3-point victory here. 2 goals and 15 points to Coothill. Lacken 3 goals and 9 points, so 18 points to 21. Big scoring game, but you don't usually score 18 points and lose.
Yeah, that's it. Poor Lacken, go over to Coothill, score 3 goals and 9 and lose. But apparently they lost to a wonderful display again by the young Enda Hessen that is having a phenomenal year so far. Wonderful scoring again. I'm not sure, I heard someone mention something like 110, so... He's just been phenomenal.
I was totting up today. He scored 124 in the 4 games that he played for Coothill this year in the championship. Senior championship. So I must just double check now to see if anybody was a higher scorer. Kingscourt obviously had 10 games, so maybe somebody did get more, but that's phenomenal return.
7 points a game, averaging 7 points a game. So wonderful year for the lad, and hopefully. He'll get a call up into the county and he'll give it 150%.
Exactly. The second game saw Ballyhaise taking on Rammer United. This was out in Ballyhaise and it finished 2 goals and 12 points apiece. So a comfortable draw for both.
That's a nice way of putting it, all right. A comfortable draw. Yeah, the draw suited both of them. But Rammer top of the division now after getting that draw. And they were already in a semi-final. Ballyhaise needed that to consolidate themselves as Division 1 a league team for next year, having won the intermediate. I think that Ballyhaise are a team to watch for the future, definitely. Winning the intermediate this year. I think definitely. Yeah, I think so. Definitely maybe. No, but having won the intermediate this year, they're playing Division 1 the last couple of years as well.
This is
their first year up, back up to Division 1A. And I just think that they're starting to peak at the right time, and they're going to be one to watch. They'll definitely stay senior, I think, next year anyway.
Yeah, I'd expect so. The third game saw Mullahoran taking on Lavey. This was in Our Lady of Lourdes Park in Mullahoran, and Lavey came away with the victory, which was a surprise, in fairness, but it finished 2-12 to 11 points. So a big win, 7-point win there for Lavey. Mullahoran needed the win.
Yep.
Lavey needed the win. Lavey got it.
Yeah, Lavey got it, and they were sitting at the bottom of the table. We'll show you the table later on because all these results are having a huge bearing on what way things are going to pan out in Division 1A. But that win for Lavey is a huge win, and it could create trouble for a couple of teams. That's what we'll say. We'll get to that in a few minutes though.
The fourth game in the division saw Kingscourt taking on Castlerahan in a replay of last week's county final, and the result was the same. A 1-point victory for the home side Kingscourt, 2 goals and 8 points to 1 goal and 10. Yeah,
which sets them up for a league semi-final showdown again. So it does between the two of them. Kingscourt and Castlerahan will have played 3 games in a row against each other. Kingscourt will have played, probably have played an Ulster.
That's right. Yeah, probably
an
Ulster
club championship match at that stage. But look, Castlerahan just can't get the better of Kingscourt at the moment, so they can't. And a good win for Kingscourt, but that leaves Castlerahan in second place and Kingscourt in third place in the league. Actually, what we'll do is we might bring up the tables.
Yeah, so the table is just coming up on your screen there now. As you can see, Rammer and Castlerahan are sitting on top of the table with 9 games played and 11 points on the board, and they're closely followed by Kingscourt and Coothill, who have 10 points on the board with 9 games played. But crucially down at the bottom end, Lavey have their 9 games played, but they've 7 points on the board. They're joined on 7 points by Balagna and Cavan Gales, who have yet to play each other. Now, a point apiece for Balagna and Cavan Gales will mean that both of them go up to 8 points.
And they'll leapfrog the 2 teams above them.
Because they've both beaten the 2 teams above them, which is Lacken and Mullahoran.
Yeah.
So a draw for Balagna and Cavan Gales means Lacken and Mullahoran then go down into the
relegation playoff
spot on 8 points.
Now, if Ballina or Cavan Gales were to win that match, if either of them win that match, the team that loses will automatically be relegated, because Lavi have already beaten Cavan Gales and Ballina, which would mean that Lavi would leapfrog the loser into a playoff position.
against either Lacken or Mullahoran, and as it currently stands, it would be Lacken.
Yeah.
So it's and do you know what? Wouldn't Cavan Gales be looking at it and saying, you know, Ballina bloody bet us in the county final a couple of years ago, wouldn't it be great to relegate them? And surely Ballina are looking at this going, imagine if we were the team to put down Cavan Gales.
Yes.
You know, like surely both teams are looking at the opportunity here and saying, geez, do you know what, we can make history.
Damn right. Like both teams are looking at this, and they have to be whetting their appetite with this, and all eyes in the county will be watching this game, because not only that, both teams could create history, but both teams will obviously be looking at it and going, do you know what? A draw saves both of us.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're in that game and it's after being a tight battle for 55 minutes and you have the ball in your hand and you have it in your own half back line and there's no opposition coming to tackle you, surely you just keep it. Exactly. You just keep it. You don't take the chances in case you end up losing the game at that point. So
there could be players that they could end up playing in their own half of the pitch. Both teams in their own half of the pitch, and if anybody goes across midfield, it could be offside. It could end up like that in the last 5 minutes. But look, I presume that both teams will go out to win that game, because both teams would love the chance to relegate the other team as well at the same time,
Exactly. So we'll move on to Division 1B, which is the Brady's Arva Volkswagen All-County Football League Round 9 results, and it saw Drumgoon taking on Gowna. This was in Drumgoon, and Gowna came away with a massive victory here, scoring 3 goals and 17 points to Drumgoon's 10 points. So absolutely phenomenal scoring rate there. 26 scores to 10, 26
points to 10, yeah. Drumgoon having a very, very poor year this year, team that promised so much a couple of years ago. They've just lost a few players in the last couple of years, and they don't seem to be able to stem the tide, at the moment. Gowna will be delighted with that win. It puts them into a promotion playoff, but good win for Gowna, and disappointing for Drumgoon, but they're happy enough that they're safe in that division anyway, so they are.
Yeah, exactly.
The next result saw, Cuchullin's taking on Den. This was played down in Mulla, and Cuchullin's, the home team, came away with a 1-point victory here. Huge game as well, this one. 14 points to 2-7 in favour of Cuchullin's. I was talking to Adrian Tate from Cuchullin's today, and he was saying it was a very, very tight match from start to finish. And, they were lucky to scrape the point win in the end. And it's Den, who had a very, very tough start to the year, have really come strong towards the end of it,
They have, but as we see from the table later on, that result still leaves them in a relegation playoff. But the third result saw Killishandra, who were facing down the neck of a relegation playoff, taking on Arva, who were facing down promotion. Mm-hmm. So it ended up a draw, though, in Killishandra. 3 goals and 10 points to Killishandra, 4 goals and 7 to Arva, which means that Arva are now promoted to the top tier in All-County Football League. So congratulations to Arva.
And have created a bit of history as well in doing so. 3 league promotions in the space of 3 years.
First team
ever in Cavan to get promoted, because up until only about 3 or 4 years ago, we only had 3 divisions.
Exactly.
So you couldn't possibly do it.
Yeah, so well done to Arva. Congratulations on your promotion. And to Killishandra, who just avoided the relegation playoff with that 1 point.
And due to the last result here, that's how they did it. The last result saw Crushelaw taking on Killygarry. A badly needed victory here for Crushelaw. 3 goals and 12 points to Killygarry's 2 goals and 11. The county senior semi-finalists, who you would have kind of favoured going into this game, beaten by a wounded animal in Crushelaw, who their backs were to the wall. They needed that win, and they got it. And in doing so, have put Killygarry into a relegation playoff with them.
It was simple enough, because the maths were probably all worked out that Crushelaw and Killygarry both knew going into that game the losers would be in a relegation playoff. Crushelaw were on 6 points going into that game, now they're on 8. Killygarry were on 7 points, but they knew that that the loser was going to end up in a relegation playoff one way or another. So it was backs to the wall stuff. But Crosslaw used home advantage to their full advantage and came away with that 4-point victory. So well done to Crosslaw. As you see the table coming up on your screen there now, Arva sitting on top. They're promoted to the All-County Football League Division 1 for 2016. And in the promotion playoff, you'll have Gowna taking on Cuchulainn. I would say that this game will be played this coming weekend.
It doesn't. Neither team would be affected by
Ulster or anything else. So, and then down at the bottom end, Red Hills are in the automatic relegation spot. Disappointingly enough, they didn't even play that final game. I can't think who they were due to play. I think it
was down to play Drumlane, was it?
Drumlane is
Drumlane
right.
got the 2 points, so that it catapulted them up the table as well into a promotion or into no, there's no league semi-final spots.
No semi-final. It just put them fourth in the table. But so Red Hills are automatic relegation, and then in the relegation playoff is Neighbours Den taking on Killygarry.
That's going to be one hell of a game.
Which again will be this coming weekend, I'd say. So there will be some very, very big games going on in the All-County Football League this coming weekend. So keep your eyes on that one, as Breffni League. So moving on to the All-County Football League Division 2 Round 9 results. And the first result in this it was a top of the table clash. Bailieborough taking on Swanland Bar. This was up in Bailieborough, and the home side came away with a victory here by 2 goals. It finished 2-11 to 11 points. Yeah,
good victory there for Bailieborough. Getting their 6-point win against Swanland Bar gives them the automatic promotion as well. As you said, a battle at the top of the table. But Swanland Bar will be disappointed. They'll be hurt after that because they would have loved to get up to Division 1B. Because they're a strong enough team to be up there. Second result saw Butler's Bridge taking on Killincare. This was down in Butler's Bridge, and the home side Butler's Bridge came away with a 3-point victory here, 2-10 to 13 points. It was a huge game for both clubs, and I suppose, Damien, you being the manager of Killincare, you both knew that it was do or die. You needed to win that game.
Well, that was it. The losing side was going into the relegation playoff against Munster Connacht. I suppose the unfortunate scheme of events meant that Belturbet playing Munster Connacht in the final round game last weekend meant that Shercock knew going into the last round that they weren't going to be able to catch Belturbet. So they hadn't a lot to play for against Ballymacue, and therefore Ballymacue picked up the result there. Probably, Ballymacue could have won it anyway, but it just, the desire wasn't there for Shercock to go on to win that game, or the carrot, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then the other disappointing thing was that Drummondley didn't field a team against
Lara. And
had Drummondley beaten Lara, it would have put Lara back down into that relegation playoff. So it's something that the county board needs to look at. No different than what's going to happen next weekend in Division 1A, where Cavan Gales, Ballinya, this needs to be stamped out of football.
Well, look, the thing about it is the league should be finished before the championship, before the championship kicks off in Cavan. That's and this could have. I think that all the leagues could have been finished. There was about a 3 or 4 week gap between the last league game and the championship.
Yeah, well, even play the one round of championship, and then go into your final round of league games, and then go back into the championship.
Yeah.
You'd have had it all done and dusted, and teams would have been at the peak of fitness.
It is very unfair on teams that go out of the championship early, having to wait 8 weeks, 9 weeks, maybe even 10 weeks for one league game, and to try and then other teams will say above them who all of a sudden put a nice championship run together, and the next thing is there's a smaller gap between their last game in the championship and their next league game.
That's it, and we seen that last year. It cost Belturbet promotion last year, where they were absolutely cruising through the league, and then there was a huge gap. They went out of the championship. They had a long layoff, and then they got beaten in the promotion playoff, and they were absolutely cruising in the league up to that point. So the layoff didn't suit them at all.
It's very hard to keep players interested after your
championship is over.
Exactly.
So if there is one thing that the county board I would urge them to do is, for next year's calendar, have the All-County Football League finished before championship is knockout, before it becomes knockout, because it'll make for a leveler playing field, I suppose, across the board. But the result of that game means now that Killincare will take on Muncher Connacht in a relegation playoff, more than likely this coming weekend. So it's backs to the wall stuff.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's squeaky bum time, as they say.
Squeaky bum time, exactly. So the final game in the Division 2 saw Shercock taking on Ballymacue up in Shercock, and Ballymacue came away with a 4-point victory here. 1 goal and 9 points to Shercock, Ballymacue 16 points. And as you can see from the table coming up on your screens now, Balliobor have the automatic promotion spot. Swanland Bar will take on Belturbet in the promotion playoff. And then down the bottom end of the table, Drummondley have the automatic relegation spot. Muncher Connacht will take on Killincare in the relegation playoff. So that's Division 2. It
is indeed. So we'll move on now to the Riverfront Hotel All-County Football League Division 3, round 9 again. Kildallan taking on Cornafane. There was a couple of very important games here in the Division 3. Kildallan taking on Cornafane. Kildallan lost on a scoreline of 1-14 to Cornafane to Kildallan's 8 points, and this was down in Ballyconnell. It was a disappointing result for the Kildallan lads. Now, having said that, they went out of the championship. They were cruising all year in the league, flying. Very unlucky to be knocked out of the championship. They were in a group of 3 and they all beat each other, but there was a score difference and they ended up going out. Knockbride and Nugent ended up going through to the next round. So they went out early in the championship. I've been talking to a couple of Ballyconnell lads and they've been struggling to get numbers at training, maybe 5 and 6. Cornafane, on the other hand, went the whole way to junior championship final and were very put up a big show in that.
Have that extra month of training.
Exactly, and they came away with a win here. Now, we're not saying that they wouldn't have beaten Kildallan, but it's just a little bit of an unfair balance in that. And it was a crucial result because Kildallan needed the win. Well, they needed a win to give themselves a chance of automatic promotion, but it all depended on the next result.
And it also would have meant that the other teams involved in that division, that it would have been an automatic promotion and then a 2-team playoff for the next step in promotion. But as we'll see from the table in a few minutes, that it won't turn out that way. It's going to be, I think, a 3-way playoff. But anyway, the second result in that division saw Corla taking on the neighbours, Templeport, of course, junior champions Templeport. Not surprisingly, came away with a big victory here. 4 goals and 16 points to Corla's 1 goal and 9. Corla, like Kildallan, out of the championship a long time, and probably nothing to train for at all. The extra couple of months training probably at this stage gave Templeport a huge advantage, and they took full advantage of it.
They did, and now that result meant that Templeport are automatically promoted. Had Kildallan won, Templeport still would have.
The table just coming up on your screen now. That's exactly it.
Yeah, Templeport, that win means they're automatically promoted. You can see them there on 16 points. Kildallan, had they won their game anyway, Templeport still would have been promoted. But what it would have done was, it would have meant that Kildallan would have been playing Drung in promotion playoff. Now, what's happening is, it's actually still Kildallan and Cornafane in that playoff, because both Kildallan and Cornafane beat Drung.
From what I've heard, it's actually not going to be that the score difference is irrelevant because Cavan Gaels conceded games, and therefore it becomes a 3-way playoff. Once there's games conceded, score difference is irrelevant.
Oh yeah, but both Kildallan and Cornafane both bet Drung on head-to-head.
Yeah, not too sure. I was talking to a Kildallan man yesterday who said to me it was going to be a 3-way playoff.
But there's so much confusion. It's the same with Division 1A, the whole lot. There's so much going on, so many permutations and combinations, and the fact that Cavan Gaels gave away games, that means...
you can't have head-to-head when it comes to 3 ways.
Right.
3-way, I don't think. I'm nearly sure you can't have. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will know that and will know by the fixtures from this coming weekend, but I don't think if it's 3 teams you can't go head to head, because it's head to head really. So although maybe the fact that if maybe Kildallan and Cornafane both beating Drung means that it might go that way, but a Kildallan man said to me yesterday that it wasn't going to be so. But
as soon as we get the fixtures for that, we'll let you know, and we'll put them out on We Are Cavan, and we'll put them out on Gaelic Football Views.
Yep. So that's how the 2015 All-County Football League finished up. It's
well, most of it is finished up.
Most of it is finished up. We have
Division
one
1A.
more result to bring to you, and then we'll obviously have the promotion playoffs and the relegation playoffs in next week's show. So it's going to be, that's the real important ones for all the clubs involved. No team wants to, every team that's left wants to either get promoted or avoid relegation.
Correct.
So they'll be going hell for leather at those games. I'd say it's going to make for some very entertaining games of football this coming weekend. So if you get the opportunity, get out and watch the teams involved.
Yeah, you to see what a team is made of when they're in a relegation playoff,
Exactly.
so you do, or in a promotion playoff. You see what they're like when the pressure comes on. So it'll be a good weekend for football.
It will indeed. So we move on to the Farnham Arms Hotel Minor B Football Championship semi-finals, which took place in Kingspan Breffni Park on Saturday evening. O'Rahilly Gaels were taking on Killygarry, and the Shercock Kingscourt amalgamation came away with a 2-point victory here. 1 goal in 12 to 1 goal in 10 in favour of O'Rahilly Gaels. So well done to the O'Rahilly Gaels side.
That'll be a strong amalgamation between Kingscourt and Shercock, I'm sure.
And you've Peter Corrigan on that team.
As well, yeah, what a footballer.
Some minor to be able to bring in. But then I think on the other side you've Connor Smith, you have Dara Kennedy, so you've 2 county minors there.
Gannon.
As well.
No.
Dara Gannon.
Dara
right.
Gannon as well.
He's right.
Brian Sheehan is over age.
He is,
he?
yes. So is Matty McKenna.
But still
3 very good players. So it must have been. I didn't get in time for this one now, but I'd say by all accounts it was a good game of football.
Yeah, the second semi-final saw Earn Gaels taking on Blackwater, and Earn Gaels came away with the victory here. 2 goals in 10 to 3 goals in 5, a 2-point victory for Earn Gaels, who are
Mullahorn and Ballymakew.
And Blackwater is
Mahara,
Nugent
and
and Muncher.
Yeah, 3 teams against 2. So, and I suppose Nugent would border Ballymakew, so you could span all the way from Longford to Meath in the contest there. It was a good big span. Now, this was actually a very good game. It was very close all the way to the end. Probably just Erin Gaels probably were just a better team. I'll take this opportunity to say hello to Michael O'Reilly from New York. He was home at the weekend, and he was in watching his nephew playing for Erin Gaels, young lad from Ballymakew, playing at midfield. So hello to Michael. I know you were saying you tune in every week, so we're delighted to have you. You're probably on a flight back to New York just at the minute. He was home for the weekend to visit Mammy.
Yeah, so you'll probably get to see this on Tuesday or Wednesday nights. You will. So
hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you enjoyed your trip. It was great. Great to talk to you. A great friend of ourselves here on We Are Cavan and on Gaelic Football Views. So thanks to Michael. But so that means in the Farnham Arms Hotel Minor B Championship final this coming weekend, it will be O'Rahilly Gaels against Erin Gaels. So it should be an absolutely excellent game of football. 2 very good teams, and the coverage of that hopefully will be brought to you on wearecavan.com, times permitting.
Yeah,
that we
other games, the whole lot that are going to be on. We have no fixture list for the weekend just yet, but hopefully we'll get that minor final on as well.
So that brings us on to the Farnham Arms Hotel Minor A Football Championship final, and this was the replay between Ramor United and Lara United, and Ramor came away with a victory in the end. They won it by 2 points. It was 1-9 to 1-7 in favour of Ramor United.
Yeah,
a good game of, well, no, I'll not lie. It was disappointing from both teams for the simple reason that their shooting boots were left back in Stradone and Virginia. Too many missed opportunities. Like two good teams, 2 very good teams, and 2 very good defences, I have to say. They were very well organised. Both managers had their matchups done really well, and curtailed a lot of space, and therefore it led to a lot of wides. Off the top of my head, I think Lara had 14
and 11, I think, was it?
It could be 14 and 11, you're right. 14 wides for Lara, 11 for Ramor. 4 drops short for Lara, and 2 missed goal chances. Those are the crucial stats probably that cost them in the end, and it's missed opportunities if you're...
It'll definitely go down in Lara as the one that got away.
It definitely
for
will.
A couple of reasons, but even the replay as well, so.
Yeah, but having said that, over the hour, Ramor were the better team now, I have to say. Killian Maguire's goal, it took them 22 minutes to get on the scoreboard, and Killian Maguire's goal gave them a lease of life that it looked like Lara were by far the better team. Lara had 5 wides and 2 points on the board, before Rammer really got up the other end of the field to have a sustained period of pressure at all. But they Rammer were the better team. Matthew McGee was excellent. The battle between him and Owen Cooney was worth the entrance fee alone. Absolutely brilliant. Two great footballers, two to watch for the future. That, you know, when you're looking back in years to come, you'll have heard us mention their name. Matthew McGee is one of the best young defenders in this county.
Oh, he's a class footballer.
Owen Cooney has such lightning pace.
He's class. Like in the initial final that was played before the senior, like just his speed and like he was stopped in the second half. Like he didn't have a shooting boots that day. He was very unlucky, but he got on so much ball, and he was just the runs he was making. He was there. Never stopped going at all. Like, and even when he was double marked, he kept going and kept going. He didn't give up. Like, good footballer.
If young Cooney can sort out his feet to get the scores that from the chances he creates, he has the potential to go all the way. Like,
he reminds me a lot of Enda Hessen.
Yeah,
so he does.
Yeah,
that's
can
his
do, like, and if he's only missing that one facet of the game is just the shooting, and if he gets that right, we're in for a spectacular footballer in this county. So I hope he gets out and gets that shooting.
And keeps
right.
at it as well.
Exactly.
That's it, you know.
Exactly. The other, I suppose, good performances. I mentioned Killian Maguire. The man of the match was Daniel Rourke, centre half forward. He scored 3 points from open play, 1 in the first, 2 in the second. But the times that he got the points in the second half for Ramo were at stages where Lara were on top. Lara were controlling the game, and there were crucial scores. And you know, when the pressure was on, he was able to take the shot with what is his weaker left foot. He's naturally right-footed, and on the left foot scored 2 wonderful points, and you know, really stood up. James Brady had a very good game as well in a corner forward. You know, so the Rammer United
2 goalkeepers, because we spoke about them a lot the week before. Liam Brady, I think, for Rammer, and Fergal O'Rourke for Lara.
Both excellent. Both were called into action for saves. Their kick-outs were excellent, and came up. Liam got on the scoreboard again. Fergal didn't get on the scoreboard this time. I think he missed 2 of them. So those little margins maybe make the difference. But we have 2 exceptionally talented underage goalkeepers, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't like to be Raymond Galligan or James Farley or Gilson or either
O'Hara or any of them.
Because we've got talent coming through. These boys are knocking on the door very, very early, very young, and they will, I would say, be county senior goalkeepers if they keep progressing the way they currently are.
Yeah, you definitely are probably looking at the 2 under 21 goalkeepers for the coming year, I'd say.
Possibly, although Fagan, I think, from Dennis still underage in under 21, and he's a phenomenal talent.
Goalkeeper as well. Yeah.
There's lots out there. I have to say, in the last couple of years, we've developed a few very, very good underage goalies, and this is more of the same. So thank God for that. The other 2 players, well, Pádraig Reilly was very, very good at wing half forward for Lara, but Lee Reilly was excellent.
Yeah,
absolutely
great footballer.
I have to say, for a county under 16, for an under 16 player. His pace, he's tall enough, he's got good physique about him, but he's so quick as well. He can carry the ball at full speed, he can kick the ball while running at full speed. He's a joy to watch, and he's one for the future as well. So congratulations to Rammer, who go on now into the Ulster competition up in St. Paul's in Belfast. We wish them the very best of luck. It's their second ever title, it's their second title in 3 years. 3 finals in 3 years and 2 titles is not a bad return.
Absolutely, it shows you the work that's going on in Rammer, and again, if they can stick at it, they're definitely a team that'll be pushing for senior honours in the next couple of years. Definitely. So moving on then to the ladies Ulster senior football semi-final. This was in in Rammer in Virginia on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and Cavan champions Lorgan were taking on the Ulster champions and maybe even All-Ireland finalists from last year, Donaghmine.
Most people would have said they're on a journey to nowhere here, Lorgan, but credit to the Lorgan girls, they got very, very close to it. It finished 3 goals and 5 points to Lorgan, 2 goals and 13 points to Donaghmine. So it ended up with a 5-point victory for Donaghmine. The Lorgan girls, I was just looking on Twitter there earlier on, they got off to a good start. They got a goal and a point in the early stages, and then Donaghmine showed that they didn't panic. They kept coming back, and by half time Donaghmine, I think, had had a 4-point lead.
Right.
And then in the second half, it was pretty much score for score all the way through. I think Lorgan then got a goal in the last few minutes. Dunamine had opened up a bit more of a lead, and Lorgan got their third goal in the last few minutes. But there's no shame in that loss there.
Absolutely not.
That's an absolutely great result, and for a very young Lorgan team, like, they won't fear playing Dunamine ever again.
Yeah.
Dunamine, and again, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Dunamine have won 4 or 5 in a row at senior level in Monaghan. And Monaghan, as we know, at ladies football is absolutely phenomenal standard. So it just goes to show the Cavan champions, the gap is tightening, and Lorgan or any Cavan team that goes into Ulster next year will have no fear at all. They'll go in and say, listen, we can compete with the best, and fair play to everybody involved there. Great season for Lorgan ladies.
Yeah, absolutely, and we wish them the best for their next season. So we do. The one last result, the Lacken Camogie girls lost in their Ulster final yesterday evening. We were in the Meadowview when they came back after losing their Ulster final. They were looking for a second Ulster final in a row.
Their Ulster semi-final they were beaten in yesterday.
No, final.
Oh, right, it was the final.
Ulster final. They were looking for their second Ulster title in a row, and then they lost, unfortunately, yesterday. But single point. So
hard luck. A very, just want to mention as well, and offer our condolences out to the Reilly family on the passing away of JJ Reilly. It was a very sudden, very sad. He departed us last week, and it's still mind-boggling to think that the big man is gone, like, because he's touched so many people in so many ways. Like, he's just an amazing character. He was an amazing GAA man, and he's a huge loss. And like he's a huge loss to Cavan Gaels, but he's a huge loss to the GAA community in Cavan as well. It was very fitting. It was very fitting at the funeral home all day Saturday from 12 o'clock until 3:30, 4 o'clock. There were hundreds of people queuing. If anybody knows where the funeral home is, McMahon's funeral home there in Cavan Town, they were queued from the door right the way back down to the junction on the main road there for 3 hours non-stop, and it was a very fitting tribute. Yeah. And like I seen while I was there, I seen Pádraig Duffy, the general manager, or I can't think of the proper name, but basically the top dog in the GAA from a professional point of view. Basically, he's Aegon. He's the equivalent of Aegon. If Aegon is the president, Pádraig Farley's the Taoiseach.
Right.
Pádraig Duffy.
Pádraig Duffy, yes.
Sorry, Pádraig Duffy. And I seen Malachy O'Rourke there as well. I seen too many people to mention, but some very big names, some people from outside of Cavan as well. And as Paul Cox said here to us over the weekend, it was like a royal funeral. People were there who might have only met JJ once, but he had that much of an impression on them. They had to be there. They felt they had to be there. And everybody was just so shocked and so saddened by the early loss of one of the greatest GAA men this county's ever produced. He really, I was saying to people over the weekend, he changed GAA in Cavan. He changed the way that we look at underage football, because when I was growing up, which is a while ago now.
It's a good while ago now, Damien.
Our under 12 team in Drumalee, we'd train on a Saturday and we'd have a game on a Tuesday, and our under 14s would train later on a Saturday and have a game on a Thursday. And Cavan Gaels at that stage were training twice a week, and then they were playing their game, and then when football was over they were training 3 times a week. And this was a new idea, and then everybody around the county then started to replicate what JJ and the Gaels had started. And that's, for me, where the evolution of it all began. That's where the current crop of wonderful young footballers coming through, I think it's taken that long for every club to be at that point. And look, we're forever indebted to the man.
Even like down through the years, talking to the Cavan Gaels footballers, they all put it down to the work that JJ Reilly did with them growing up, and his loss, he'll never be replaced, because he was just incredible. And we were so lucky to have interviewed him in here a couple of times, and not only was he proud of being a Cavan Gaels man and proud of his club and being a real he was proud of all football. He was proud of all Cavan football, and the one thing he wanted was he just wanted young guys to go out and play football. He didn't mind who won. Like we spoke earlier on off air about how he texted people from Ballyhaise when they won the intermediate. He texted you when we won the Drumley, won the intermediate as well. And I'm sure he'd be texting people from all around the county when they win. He'd just love to see young guys going out and playing football and learning as well. He's such a good school teacher. You see all the tributes to him as well online about how just incredible he was. He was just a great man.
A huge loss. So
yeah.
R.I.P. JJ Reilly. So that brings us to the end of this week's show. Remember, if you want to get in contact with us, we'd be delighted to hear your views.
You can email us on GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GaelicFE, or you can find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views.
So until next week, it's good night and
God bless.